Thank you for joining me in the yard. I can do my best to tell you everything I know about the lower back. I think of it in three parts: below your lower back, then around your lower back, then above your lower back. Let's start with below. An example would be, let's say your inner thigh muscles inside of your hips were really stiff. If they were stiff and you went this way, your back would be much more rounded. Now, I'm not even saying rounded is bad, but you could see that the more flexible the inner thighs, the more my lower back muscles would be in that position rather than that position. So this is a lower back exercise, but my intention is to stretch, stretch, stretch those inner thighs. And this is so cool because you could just use a chair. You could start at any weight. You could even use an incline bench so that you have to stop at a certain position. You could start this body weight. You could even do weights with an incline bench, stretching those inner hips, stopping yourself short to make sure you feel safe. The insides of the hips tend to get really stiff when we stop resting in deep squats. Now, naturally, we might rest like this, 30 minutes a day. Instead, we're using chairs and like up to 10 hours a day. So not only are the inner hips stiff, we also get stiff in the front of the hip. So this is one of my other favorite exercises. I'm stretching here, but not in a relaxed position. I'm trying to be strong in this position. You have a scale just like the last one. You could assist yourself unassisted and loaded. I will always remind you that my knees were so bad I had to start elevated and assisted. Over years, I worked my way down to flat ground. I was not expecting to have extra knee protection compared to the norm, and the lengthened hip flexors was a bonus. This was really the foundation of seeing lower back success stories, talking with people. Why are lower back success stories coming from my knee program? And this ATG split squat was the most common denominator. You can start with just a chair. You could first master this position so you have strength in the front leg, stretch in the back leg. Just hold that till that's easy. Then you could gradually put motion. So a chair, super easy to start. And years and years and years of stacking things for clients in the gym. You can see why I made this, just so it's easy, user-friendly, change positions, have measurement. So those were my two favorite examples, below the lower back. Now getting up into the lower back. Don't worry, I'm gonna show how this regresses to any level. But while I want the ability to resist my lower back rounding, I also want to be mobile through that spine when I am in this position. I want this position to feel good. So keep in mind, here's a bar, even used a pink bar for you to make it less scary. So with that seated good morning, I'm training more the strength. What can I do without rounding? And then with lighter weight, I want to be mobile rounding. And I'm going to show you that scale so easily, because just as that is loaded, you can do it the opposite of loaded with your hands assisting. So this is less than your body's weight. I like to go with two legs here and then flex one thigh. So you're getting a little bit of stretch strength going through that backside. Bend, repeat on the other side. So this was the next main clue. Yes, we're getting good at resisting rounding, also getting good at being able to round, but in context. So I would feel less protected in my lower back if I was stiff here than being mobile here. When it comes to loading, my favorite is a slant and a bar. Slant, because modern shoes have a big heel, so almost everyone is a bit too tight back here, especially if you had knee surgery, it could be really tight. So that slant feels so good behind the knee. And now take a look here. When that bar hits the ground, I don't have to now stack up the slant. I can just make my grip wider. So see the width of my grip. Now I'm nowhere near the bottom. So I can measure my progress. When I'm getting there, boom, I can go a little wider. So this actually keeps it super safe for me. I want to feel like I could lift an empty bar, no problem, with my spine in that position. So we're in this around the lower back part now. With any of the exercises I've shown so far, it's not like those are the best. This has been a workable system of regressions of exercises for below the lower back, around the lower back, above the lower back. But there's a number of ways you could get to the same end product, and I'll keep showing you that. Continuing around the lower back, there is a quadratus lumborum, quad like four-sided lumborum of your lumbar spine. It's on either side of your lower spine. I like to stretch and strengthen that muscle. Once I started training this one, really started making things make sense to me. It was like, okay, I want to be strong and flexible all around the spine, not have these stiffnesses below the spine. So this is one I'll just keep in my regimen forever. I'll show you what to do without the equipment. Start with a wall behind you to kind of hold you into position. And now from here, you have weight based on how high it is. And then you have a load, so you can actually get a really nice stretch strength through that quadratus lumborum. And then you'll see, because of leverage, even a lightweight can be really challenging. So I wouldn't even need this much weight. Just showing you, you can actually get a great workout on this without the back extension equipment. Not to mention, I think you get a nice extra stretch strength through those inner hamstrings. So hopefully this makes sense. Now, let's say you were stiff and weak here. Well, not all back injuries happen in this position right here. It's often going to the sides. So hopefully this is starting to have some light bulbs go off, but everything's got a scale. So you could start this even with your hands on the floor. You could do it assisted. So start thinking of everything as a progression from assisted to body weight to loaded. Do you need to go to loaded? My mom is 70. Her ATG split squat, she starts high every session. She gradually works down. She can do flat ground. But my goal for her is just to master her own body weight. She doesn't do loaded. Meanwhile, the forces on my knees of basketball, the reason I can dunk and then have my knees not get hurt is because I made them a lot stronger. And I did have to load for that. So everything I've shown so far, really personal. You can help just about anyone. When you start to realize you don't have to work through pain, you can find your level. You can go even less than body weight. So a lot of times people think I can't do something because they can't do the body's weight without pain. I couldn't do the body's weight without pain for my knees when I started the ATG split squat. Finding out I could do less than body weight allowed me step by step to build where now I can do more than body weight. Last part, above the spine. I actually don't care how you get the ability to do this. It's just a demo. I didn't get there by trying to do that. I'll show you what I did. As you can see, I don't have a wall around here, but you can do a pullover with a wall. So I did B-roll, and you can see that you could start so easily. You could start here, and the farther you back up, the more weight you have in that position. So you can stretch this way. In training, hundreds of people in person, thousands online, this is one of the weakest areas, maybe the weakest I've seen in the modern body. So you're going to start just with your hands. You could gradually add weights. You're trying to have your body in a straight line. And then you're going to try to extend your arms over head, this position right here, without bending the elbows, because this is different leverage. Straight elbow, arms at about 45 degrees, so not 90. This might be a little unrealistic. Boom, right there. So that flexibility this way, and then that strength that way. Those are just two of the tightest, weakest spots I found. So now we've got all this ability in, below, above, around the spine. Not an end-all be-all. Based on the theory of this, you could add to it. But I hope this light bulb goes off for someone out there that you actually can, no matter where you are now, you could improve ability somewhere. 1%, 2%. We already know that strength training works. We already know that stretching works. These things work. We just have to find the right routes to do it while being safe in the process. So this idea that you can scale less, you can scale to any level low, and then progress it higher depending on your goals, how much protection you need. This has all resulted in tons of back success stories coming in. I had back problems, not to the same extent of my knees ruining my life. I didn't have back surgeries like I did for my knees. I wasn't on painkillers every day for my back like I was for my knees, but it's actually the same principles. So I hope this helps you. Thanks to all of you for spreading this data out there. As always, I try to put the data free. Anything I know in my head should be free right here. That's why I never turned on the ad money on this YouTube channel. I want to just be like an up-to-date educational resource. Meanwhile, I've worked for over 6 years trying to make coaching affordable. So it's $49.50 a month, no long-term contract, half off the first month. So you could do 1 month. You can message us your form videos, your questions. We answer you under 24 hours, 7 days a week. So it's meant to help you master the system, and it's worked. There's now people who did that all around the world, helping people in their lives. So you don't have to do that. I'm here for you, any level you've got. Thank you for supporting this all. Now, more recently, I've been trying to make equipment solutions to make all this stuff more user-friendly. So I'm just gonna keep at it for you. Hope this helps.